Welcome to a special edition of Andy and Ari on 3 presented by BetMGM. We're in a magical forest. No, we're in Anderson, South Carolina. We're about to go cover LSU Clemson, but we have to talk about what just happened with Arch Manning at the Horseshoe. Or we could just say it's a great win for Ohio State, great defensive performance by Matt Patricia and his crew. Or we could talk about whatever he's talking about and talk about Arch.
Ohio State was good. It was a good defensive effort. All right, we'll see you guys at Clemson. What are you doing underneath a tree? Like, this is nice. It's like kind of like I feel like near the ocean. Okay, so 3/4 of Arch Manning, everybody, including you, my wonderful colleague, were throwing stuff at me saying, hey, this is what you get for overhyping a player. He obviously sucks. He's never going to be good. Whatever, but I did take some gratification in like watching that last second comeback attempt and like thinking about what would have happened had he like led them on a game tying drive. That didn't happen.
17 of 30, 170 yards, a touchdown and a pick.
I mean, honestly,
it's pretty bad.
It was 3/4 of bad football.
It's pretty bad.
And like he had a few throws, that touchdown throw that he had late, and then that nice throw on the final drive was an NFL level throw. But for the most part, there's not a lot there to unpack.
Now, Julian Sayin didn't have the greatest day either, but he didn't have the interception. And the Arch interception was a bad throw.
You know, I don't know if it's partially my fault, Andy, my fault and a lot of other people in the media, but it did seem kind of funny how many people were taking joy in watching the hype crash down. And it feels like people are rooting against him. And I don't know if like he's overhyped or if like that is, you know, proof that everybody that was anti-Arch or thought that his last name carried the whole reason why he was ever even rated to begin with, that was a victory. But like, I don't know, like maybe it's obviously time to pump the brakes a little bit, but I don't think he's cooked. Do you? Like,
no, he's not cooked.
I mean, like
the end of the game tells you he's not cooked. That's a very good defense. That's a very tough environment. Now, granted, he's going to play other tough defenses. He's going to play Georgia this year.
Sure.
He's got to go into the swamp. Like, he's going to play good defenses. He's going to play in tough environments. So we'll see if he gets better as the season goes on in that situation. But he certainly didn't match the hype today, and that is our fault. I will say that front and center. That's our fault because this is a guy who's tweeted 5 times in 3 years.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he's taken a lot of commercials. Like we saw that Warby Parker commercial with him and his dad.
People were joking throughout the game that he had more commercials than like completions.
At one point, he probably had more commercials than passing yards.
But like, here's the thing too. Like I'm somebody who said on this podcast with a straight face that it's a certainty that he's going to go to New York. I don't know that it's impossible that still happens, but it doesn't. I don't like if we were to film these bold predictions today, I'm not sure I would have said that. Now here, Andy, the one thing that I do want to make a point of. And when we were in this restaurant, you know what it kind of felt like to me? It felt like last year when you and I were in a Buffalo Wild Wings and we were watching the Notre Dame Northern Illinois game. And it kind of hits me too. It's like, is Arch Manning cooked, or are we going to be the prisoners of the moment of,
so you're going to come out with a video tomorrow and be like, Arch is going to kill it the rest of the way. Cause that's exactly what you said about Notre Dame. You said Notre Dame was going to run the table, which Notre Dame did.
I think if that game ended with Arch Manning having 60 yards passing, like if the game would have ended at the end of the third quarter, I would be far more nervous than I am now. I think if you're a Texas fan, you're probably disappointed by what you got.
If you're a Texas fan, you sat there watching those first 3 quarters and you're like, oh no, when Sark put him in the first Georgia game last year, that was really him. That was it.
Yeah.
But it's not it. You saw there's more to it. But
I guess it's kind of freeing, at least, that they don't have to live in this prison of wondering what would have happened if they played a Heisman level Arch last year in the playoff. But like when you actually like
Quinn, you were just sitting there cracking his knuckles today, like
taking a step back though. You know, there's 2 ways of looking at it. Arch Manning is cooked. He's not as good. The hype was overrated, or the hype was too high. His last name's the reason why he's rated, or they were down by 7 in a 1-possession game against a national championship contender on the road with the first-time starter out there, and they had a chance to tie it 50 yards away. Like, I don't know how you want to spin it. I'm not a Texas guy. I'm the Ohio State homer here. Like, but like, I don't know if I feel so much different. That last quarter changed the entire vibe of the way I was feeling.
Well, and it may be that Sark needs to figure out how best to utilize Arch, because Arch seemed a lot better running tempo than he did running a run-of-the-mill, normal tempo.
You're
offense.
more of an X's and O's guy. You know, when Arch finally started to find some things downfield, Ohio State was up 14-0 late. I don't know if defenses relax or
I don't think they relaxed. I think Texas juiced the tempo because they had no choice.
Yeah.
And I think that probably settled Arch in a little bit. Maybe he's better that way.
Yeah. But I think there's a lot of victory laps being taken on Arch sucks, and I think that's very premature.
Well, here's a good victory lap. This is not an Arch sucks victory lap. This is a victory lap from a listener named Eric, who sent us an email after one of our mid-August shows. And we actually answered this question in a mailbag segment a couple weeks ago.
And while you're reading this, I'm going to get the vibe of the chat. So read it.
I'm going to resurface this email. So this is not, he forwarded it to me during the game, by the way. This is not necessarily a question, but more of a statement from today's show. And we're talking about the one a couple weeks ago. I don't think people are rooting against Arch. I think people are rebelling against the clickbait comments made by the media. Ari's comments such as, it's impossible for Arch not to be good, or I guarantee you he'll be in New York for the Heisman, make people root against Ari and other media members. Making such statements for a guy who has started 2 games but has a famous last name only inflames some listeners. And I'm not naive. This is also the point of shows. Most of us just want to see Arch go out and prove it before we anoint him, but we root against media members like Ari, who already have for no apparent reason.
Just so you know, you can keep rooting against me. I'm far more upset about Southern Miss not covering than I am about like I don't know. Like
that's the secret here. By the way,
they don't know this about
behind. Me. No, it's not about you.
Oh.
It's about shows. It's about Eric nailed it. Like we say stuff like that because it gets a reaction out of you guys. You thinking Ari's an idiot and hating him is part of the show.
But here's the thing, though. That's true. We want to be interesting. We want to be entertaining. But the one thing I don't want listeners to ever think is that I'm saying things that I don't believe.
Oh, no, he totally believed it.
Like, I believe
believed it.
And I still don't think that he's cooked on the Heisman thing, by the way.
It's one game.
It's one game. And what did he end up finishing? Because I was right,
yards.
170
it's
yards.
It's not a great per attempt average. But look.
I know, but like if they're in the SEC championship game, what happened today is not going to matter.
But here's the thing. If their receivers play the way they played, because we can put all of this on Arch if we want, but it seemed to me watching the game, we were at Ohio State's last home game when they played Tennessee in the playoff. Remember watching Nico drop back and see no one open? That's what Arch saw most of the day.
Yeah, and I think that Matt Patricia probably deserves a lot of credit for coming up with some defensive schemes.
And that is great for an Ohio State defense that replaced 8 starters. That's great. But a Texas offense that's supposed to still be very good, even though they lost Matthew Golden and some other really important players, they got to do better. Those receivers have got to get open. Now, Arch is not blameless for sure. He's going to get most of the blame. They got to get open, or they're not going to beat Georgia, or they're not going to be in the SEC championship game. Like, that's the sort of thing you got to consider.
Yeah, and what do you think Texas fans are thinking? Do you think they're like lamenting Arch's play right now, or do you think they're lamenting the bad red zone trips because they were 0 for 2 on red zone trips? They didn't take field goals in situations.
That's also Arch's. I have no problem with the tush push on the goal line. No problem whatsoever. Execute.
Well, I don't think you run the tush push if you're not blowing the opposing defense on. I think
they actually were, but they actually were getting a push in the run game early.
There's 2 schools of thought on that. It's like if you're playing football and you can't get a half a yard, then that's your fault. But then there's also like
you watch that tush push again. There's some Texas players who either maybe weren't ready for the snap or like it didn't look like everybody's on the same page. On
at least it wasn't a toss play, right? Like
it was not a toss on the goal line.
But so
growth.
I know that Arch Manning, if Arch Manning would have won the game, we probably still would have gone live because it's Arch Manning. But it's like, how much better did Julian Sand play than Arch? Like, in your opinion?
Better because he didn't make a crippling mistake.
Because Arch threw a pick, okay? And it was a downfield.
Arch made some other bad throws. There was one that probably should have been picked, but that was a deflection, the Sonny Styles one.
Yeah. Wait, I thought they overturned that.
I think they did overturn it. It wasn't a pick.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Could have been very easily picked.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put that one on Arch, but the other one was squarely on Arch.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think people want to hear that, I'm sorry for thinking that Arch was going to be great, and I'm sorry for thinking that he was going to go to the Heisman. If you've watched our previous shows, you know exactly the reasoning, and I still feel comfortable with the reasoning of, who he has around him, the coach that he has for him, his last name helping him in the voting, all those things. My reasoning, I think, is listen, I'm not crazy. He was the fucking betting. Oh, sorry. He was the freaking betting favorite. Sorry. Yeah, it's a show. We're all guys being dudes here. Sometimes it happens.
Well, but yeah.
Am I off? I don't even feel like I was really that off base. I don't know. I still, if people are wanting me to be oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought Arch was going to be good. I'm an idiot. That's not happening.
This was always going to happen. he was always going to be hyped this way. And then one of two things was going to happen. Either he was going to live up to it and it was going to be a massive, media storm, hurricane, just like Tebow when he turned out to be as good as he was promised to be, or just like Johnny Manziel when that all took off. It was going to be something like that.
Well, let me tell you.
Or it was going to be this where everybody's like, see, I told you were overhyping him.
Yeah, I don't know. Twitter was around, but not big, I don't think, right, when Tebow was playing, or was it not around yet?
I think it had barely been invented. Yeah. So,
but like the parade of excitement and jubilance that he was not very good, I thought was kind of bizarre. Now, here's the thing, guys, and this is the
I don't think it's bizarre at all. I think that's human nature.
The best kept secret of it all is if Arch Manning actually ends up stinking. Or like that Arch Manning that we saw for the first 3 quarters of the Ohio State game is the Arch Manning.
We're going to get so many shows out of it.
It's not that.
Oh, sorry.
But yes, we will. Steve Sarkisian, what the hell are you doing? Right?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if we can do this yet. If he ends up stinking, I guess.
Yeah, so I said.
I just spent the whole summer saying, we're going to relitigate why Sark keeping Quinn on the field. No, Sark got vindicated on that one already. So
yeah, no, I know, but
I'm not going to kill Sark quite yet.
Quinn, from my understanding, Quinn Ewers wasn't welcome back, and he's an NFL.
Well, there is
player
that.
Right now.
There is that too.
You could also relitigate the other way, which is if Arch Manning can't play, then why is there a quarterback who got drafted in the NFL draft not on your team still? But like again, week 1 overreactions. I know that my number one ailment is.
Remember the mailbag question from Steve in San Antonio about the red zone issues? Sark?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still bad.
I saw a lot of that on Twitter.
It's still Texas.
Bad.
Yeah. And I'll go back to my answer. I'll go back to my answer for that, which maybe I'm wrong. My answer was they improve that a little and then win the national title because they tend to get in the red zone a lot and they just need to learn to cash it in. Maybe they're not that good.
Can I put you on the spot?
Yeah.
Will Texas play in the SEC championship game this year?
No. But honestly, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't feel like they're a prohibitive favorite to play in it. I could easily pick 2 other teams.
I don't know. I'm going to try to turn over a new leaf and not overreact to that. I think they're still probably one of the favorites to win the SEC. So we'll see. They're playing Ohio State. We still don't know, too. Like, what if Ohio State and Texas are just 9-3 teams this year and we don't know it yet? Like, I don't know.
That's week 1. Hey,
that's week 1.
I covered that famous Texas Notre Dame game in Austin, the Texas is back baby game.
Yeah.
And both teams were just absolutely god awful.
I think the odds of that happening are relatively low.
I don't think that's going to happen to this. But it is week 1. We are going to overreact. We'll overreact to whatever we see here in Clemson tonight. We're going to overreact based on what we see in Tallahassee in a few minutes. We're going to overreact based on every single thing we see this week. And you know what? That is part of the fun.
One of us.
That's right.
One of you. We're one of you.
That's exactly right. That is the whole point of college football is overreacting after week 1.
Are we going to actually get through this entire video and not address that Ryan Day has his nipples pierced, or are we just going to move on? That I know. I don't think he does. That is really funny. And also, too.
Did someone Photoshop that?
As somebody,
that has to be Photoshopped, right?
As somebody who is a huge fan of the NFL,
yeah,
I enjoy watching it, and I'm every bit as a consumer of the NFL as you are. That stuff does not happen in the NFL.
No,
it doesn't.
But not to get too personal here, but like my nipples have some little bumps that come off them. So like if you had an extreme 4K close up of my nipples, and that's the thing. I said this is exactly what I said to Ari as soon as that hit the internet. This is why I don't ever want to be truly famous.
You don't have. I'm looking right at your nipple.
I'm looking right. I'm cutting glass right now, baby.
Yeah, Andy's nipples are hard. I have indented nipples. I think. I don't know, but I have my number one problem area as a human being is a flabby chest. I've got a little. I got a little bit of a man tit problem.
It's a furry chest, too.
And it's furry. And I looked in the mirror before we came on, and I pushed my nips down.
What I'm saying is, if you zoomed in 8K on my nipples, I think you'd see some little protrusions other than the actual nipple. I don't have pierced nipples, mostly because I'm afraid of it.
But also, too, Ryan Day deserves to have his nipples pierced after what he did last year.
Wouldn't it be awesome if it were pierced with miniature versions of the national championship ring?
This is going to be a topic. So, guys, don't forget, when we do these live reaction shows, we're outside of a random Buffalo Wing place.
No. This is Wild Wing Cafe. I want to give a shout out to Selena, our server. She was awesome. We split 50 wings. I ate 35. Ari had 15. It was delicious.
Yeah, and I'm still stuffed. I don't know how you ate 35.
I'm ready for dinner.
But Andy, the one topic that I wanted to tell people is when we do these, we're kind of scatterbrained. I was writing a column. He was over here fiddling with the camera. We're on our way to the Clemson game. We will have a re-litigation of this on our recap show. They're back. The live recap shows at night. And also, we have to have a discussion about whether or not any coach in recent memory has altered his
I thought you were saying has Pierce nipples.
No. Okay. Altered his reputation. I wouldn't be making fun of the Pierce nipples thing if he was still in the place he was after the Michigan game last year. Has a person changed their standing in football reputation more than Ryan Day has in his last 5 games?
Ryan Day is riding high right now,
winning another big game. I don't want to lose. Because
that's the thing. They're up 14-0 with 5 minutes to go in the game. That Ohio State played a great game. Let us just say that now. Matt Patricia, we had no idea what he was going to look like as a college defensive coordinator.
And good for you with that pencil in your ear with your laminated play sheet. Love it.
But did you listen to any of the podcasts he did?
No.
When he wasn't coaching?
Mm-mm.
Actually, a pretty darn good podcaster too. So
maybe we'll have him on.
I don't think we can book him at this point.
But yeah, hey, thanks guys for doing this. We got to head over to Clemson.
That's right. We're going to Clemson.
Wonderful, majestic spot that you got here too, Andy. It's like the Garden of Eden.
It is. We were going to do it in front of the dumpster if Arch didn't throw that last touchdown pass.
And sorry if you have any your nipples pierced. We're not making fun of you. I think it's kind of a badass move if you can pull it off.
I can't say anything.